A 10 out of 10 do not recommend. That shit was very much ghetto. Need a break. A bitch is burnt out. We cannot do it. I need a break. So hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nyla. My name on all my socials is Nyla Imani because I love my first and my middle name. Welcome if you are new, if you're a returner. Thank you for coming back and watching another video. So, by the time you watch this video, you probably will have already seen part 1 of my graduation vlog. For those that do not know and are new, and maybe this is the first video you're watching from me, by the time you see this, I will have already graduated from grad school. I attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill here in North Carolina, and I got my Master of Public Health degree. So this is either going to be a 2-part series depending on how long this specific portion is, or if it's short enough, then it's going to get added to the vlog portion. So this is either going to be 2 parts or 3 parts. Haven't figured that out yet. But I do know what I want to talk to y'all about today. I have some stuff written down in my phone to keep me on track. So there's kind of 5 parts to this specific portion. It's going to talk about my journey to grad school / how I chose a program. So those can be separate or together. Navigating grad school during a pandemic, and do I regret my experience, and then what's next. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't be a stranger. I know you want to join the family. I'm sure you have watched other videos of mine, so I really don't know what you're waiting for. You might as well go ahead and subscribe. You're gonna love it here. Everyone else loves it here. I love it here. You're gonna love it here. So subscribe. Let's talk about my journey to grad school. How did we get here? Okay. My entire life, I've always wanted to be a physician. I never really considered anything else but becoming a doctor. Yeah, I never really gave anything else like full, complete thought. It was just always, I'm gonna be a doctor. That wasn't even put into my head by my parents or anything. It was just, I've always been interested in science and medicine. And so I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. Also, sidebar, if you hear any whining, barking, complaining in the background, that may be my dog Skipper. Hopefully he doesn't act up. I had to make sure he stayed inside while I recorded this because he'd be liking to be outside barking at the people and other dogs, and they don't be doing nothing to him, but he just wants to be a terror and barks at them. So, yes, just wanted to put a disclaimer out there that you might hear a noise from my dog. But back to what I was saying, I never really considered anything else. I did my undergrad at NC State University, also here in North Carolina. North Carolina really has had a hold on me. I've been trying to leave for a very long time. I've been here 14 years. We'll get back to that part later. So I was saying, I went to NC State for my undergrad. I got my degree in biological sciences with a human biology concentration. At NC State, we don't have a pre-med track. So if anybody is interested in doing pre-med, because I want to go to med school, PA school, nursing school, dental school, whatever, we all usually either major in biological sciences, if you're going to go to vet school, animal sciences, chemistry, biochem, some of the other chems, microbiology. As long as you just make sure you take the necessary prereqs for med school, you're usually good. But a lot of us usually majored in one of the sciences while there, since we didn't have pre-med. So my intention was to go to med school right after finishing undergrad. That did not happen. Got to junior year of college. I think I was struggling a little bit in one of my chemistry classes, and I was being very hard on myself, as I normally am, because that's just who I am. We're working on her, but that is who I am. And so I was struggling, and I was like, if I can't even pass this, how am I gonna like take the MCAT and pass that? I also like just did not have the mental capacity to like study for the MCAT and do school at the same time. So junior year was when I decided that I was gonna take time off after graduation, which I'm glad I did anyways. Fast forward, senior year, graduated from college, was not employed yet when I graduated. I ended up becoming employed by August. I had moved back home anyways after graduation, and I got employed in August. Someone that graduated before me who was interested in going to med school, they had done medical scribing, and so I got some information. I figured out what company that they had worked for. I applied, I interviewed, and I ended up getting the job the same day. So I got the job for medical scribing. I scribed at Atrium Health, the main hospital in Charlotte, to Level 1 Trauma Center. I worked in the emergency department. I did that for almost 2 years. I gave myself literally a 2-year max. Hold on one second. Go lie down. Anyways, don't have children, guys. They will just get on your nerves. Please. Where was I? I gave myself a 2-year time limit on going back to school. So in summer/fall of 2018 was actually when I reapplied to med school. I had retook the MCAT. Actually, I took it twice. I took it for my first time, and then I retook it again. I took it earlier in 2018, and then I applied to med school starting in the summer. And then in the fall, I realized through my job, seeing like the inequities in our healthcare system and how trash it really is, and how Black and brown people are disproportionately affected because the system was designed that way. It really piqued my interest in public health. And so I ended up applying to some dual degree programs for med school, so MD/MPH. And then I was also like, well, if you are already contemplating getting the degree, why don't you also apply to grad school to get a Master of Public Health? One of those options has to work out. You're either going to get into med school or you're going to get into grad school. So I did not get into med school, but I did get into grad school. Hold on one second. I cannot. I had to go take his toy away from him. Oh! I have to take his toy away from him because he's making too much noise while I'm trying to record, and we can't have that. So, back to what I was saying. In the lie down. Jesus. In the spring of 2019 is when I found out I got into grad school. I only applied to 5 programs. I actually applied to UNC Chapel Hill last because I was like, I'm really not trying to stay in North Carolina no more. I'm really trying to leave, trying to expand and spread my wings. But God said, no, you are going to stay here. And the reason why I ended up applying to Chapel Hill, which goes into choosing a program, is because I very much am interested in health equity, specifically racial health equity, and helping to eliminate racial and ethnic disparities, particularly for Black people. So the programs, the concentrations here at Gillings, which is the name of the School of Public Health here, it's Gillings School of Global Public Health at UNC Chapel Hill. They have various concentrations for the MPH program, and one of them is called Health Equity, Social Justice, and Human Rights. That is my concentration. That is what I got my degree in within the public health master's degree. And it was a unique program because when I was doing my research for public health programs, I didn't find many of them that existed. They were all kind of like health behavior-ish focused, which was like kind of my backup. I was like, oh, that's close enough to what I'm interested in. And it was health behavior actually was my second choice behind health equity. Or equity, which is what we call my concentration for short. We had the ability to choose 2 concentrations when applying to the MPH program. So health equity was first for me, health behavior was second. I got into health equity. I think the only school that I didn't get into on my list was Vanderbilt. I had already made my decision to come to UNC before I heard back from Georgia State, I believe, was the last school that I was waiting to hear back from. I had already made my decision to come to UNC because I was like, it'll be cheaper because of in-state tuition. 2, I think this is a very unique concentration and is very up my alley, so why wouldn't I take advantage of that? 3, the prestigious name. It's the #1 public university in the country for public health programs. If you're combining public and private universities, it's #2 overall. Johns Hopkins is #1. So I was like, as much as I want to leave financially, since I'm paying for my grad degree, I took out loans, but I didn't expect my parents to take out loans to help me pay for grad school, so I was paying for it on my own. And so I was like, this would be more cost effective for me, so I will just stay here. So that is how I decided on the program. I also came here for Admitted Students Day in April of 2019, and I enjoyed the faculty that I got to speak with. I met some of my cohort members that day. Some of them hadn't decided on coming to UNC yet, but they ended up coming, and so I ended up meeting some of them that day. And I got good vibes, and so I was very happy with my decision. So August of 2019 is when we officially started our MPH program. I think there's only 16 of us, including myself, in the first cohort. In the second cohort, so our equity babies who are now second years, I think there's 20 something of them. And then the third class that's coming in this fall, there's like 40 something of them. And so I'm really happy about that for the program. But back to me starting my grad school career. We're gonna talk about how grad school went before talking about how it was doing it during a pandemic. So, I started grad school. I secured a grad assistantship before I even started grad school. And I started on August 1st. We didn't start grad school, I think, until like the second or almost third week of August. So I had already started working. I basically worked 25 plus hours a week. And then adding school on top of that was really like a struggle for me initially. Like that first semester, I didn't really think about this until after the fact. I've never gone to therapy before. I've never talked to a psychiatrist or a therapist before. I've never been diagnosed with like anxiety, depression, any of that. I don't think that I have depression, but I do think that I was in a period of time where I was depressed, but I was very much functioning. I think I just felt very overwhelmed because I was doing school and work at the same time. I didn't have a job in undergrad. Like I had a small campus job like my senior year of undergrad, but like it wasn't nearly as many hours as I was doing for my grad assistantship. Like I was working almost full time a lot of the time, like because like we would have a lot of in-person events and we would have to do a lot of planning, lots of meetings, and then I'm doing school on top of that. And so I started to feel very overwhelmed and stressed out. Luckily, my grades did not suffer because I would never let that happen. But I was very overwhelmed and stressed out. And on top of that, I had moved out of my parents' house. I I got my own apartment. Even though I was only like less than 3 hours away from Charlotte, this was the first real time that I was living on my own. I don't believe in having roommates. I was done with that shit. Excuse my language if you're new here. I have a potty mouth. Luckily, it has been under control during this video, but I don't do roommates. I don't believe in living with other people unless that other person is like my future husband and my children. I don't believe in living with other people. We are grown as adults. I don't have time to be telling you to clean up after yourself or get into arguments because you are not a considerate person, because someone's gonna get cursed out and that person's not gonna be me. Someone might get their ass beat and that person's not gonna be me. So for my own personal sanity, I already knew that I wasn't finna live with nobody, so I made sure that I got my own apartment, where a 1-bedroom living by myself. But since this was the first time ever in life that I have been in this situation, I felt very lonely. I felt very lonely. Majority of my friends live in Charlotte. My parents and my brother live in Charlotte, and so I just felt alone. And so one day I was talking to my parents and I broke down crying like on the phone, and I think that's when I realized that I might have been depressed for a little while. And so the semester ended, and I went home for winter break. I really wanted a dog. I felt like that would improve my mental health and help me out a little bit. What is this hair sticking up right here? And help me out a little bit. And so for Christmas, my parents did buy me a dog. I adopted one, but you know, you still have to pay for the adoption fee, so they paid for it. I got my little fur baby, my little baby Skipper, who gets on my nerves, which is why I say don't have kids, but I do love him to death, and he really has improved my mental health. I have to stop the video and then start recording again because time's about to run out. Okay, so I got him. I felt recharged after winter break and now having Skipper, and then I came back in January. We started second semester. I felt like I had school and work handled at that point. Like I didn't really feel that stressed out anymore. I also didn't go home as often. Like I still went back to Charlotte, but I didn't go as often as I did first semester because I didn't feel as lonely anymore because I had Skipper. Ooh, excuse me, how unladylike of me. And so second semester actually wasn't, you know, terrible at the beginning. Fast forward to March, spring break. I went home to Charlotte. I went to Vegas for a few days because we were celebrating my friend's bachelorette party. It was a whole vibe, a whole movie. Came back to Charlotte. School extended our spring break because prior to me leaving, the United States finally acknowledged that COVID was in the US. And I think we had just gotten our first case or first few cases in North Carolina before I went to Vegas. When I came back, that I think was literally when the country decided to shut down, and UNC extended our spring break. And then after they extended it, they were like, oh, we're just gonna like move to virtual. And so everything for grad school was now virtual, and we did it online. Can you believe, and I was bonding with my cohort over this yesterday. It was the first time I saw them in like a whole year because we've all been at home in a pandemic. We really did grad school, majority of our grad school career, like virtually online via Zoom, and that shit is wild to me. Do not know how we all survived and got through it, but we did that shit. We did that shit, and I'm so proud of us. We did that shit. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. Doing school online during a pandemic, it was a lot. It felt overwhelming at times. I was so tired of being on Zoom because I was also working from, which the working from home part, I can get over the meetings at this point, being on Zoom and being online. It was just a combination of having to do meetings for work and shit online, and then also doing school online. It just became a lot. Oh, and then I also did my practicum during the pandemic, and I actually made it my second job. So then I was working 2 jobs and doing school. So yeah, 10 out of 10 do not recommend, but you do what you gotta do. So yeah, I definitely experienced Zoom fatigue a lot because it was just too much. But one thing that I did really enjoy that came out of this pandemic was the ability to work from home, because I really do think it's ridiculous to go to an office for 40 hours a week when you can be just as productive at home. But back to navigating grad school during COVID. It kind of was a little trash. I especially felt bad for the first years because they had to start their grad school career in a pandemic, and that shit sucked. But I am happy that they get to experience like their last year basically in person, because UNC is opening up in the fall. I'm sure Gillings itself, since it's a school of public health, will probably do hybrid models for classes or offer some classes virtually, but UNC itself said, baby, we are opening. We need our money. We're opening. Pandemic who? Pandemic where? So yeah, 10 out of 10 do not recommend. That shit was very much ghetto, but I'm very happy to have gotten through it. And I'm very proud of my cohort for getting through it, and all of the other MPH students who came in with me but are in different concentrations. Like, we really did that shit. We really did that shit because it was stressful. But by the time, like I said, by the time y'all see this, I will have already graduated, and so we're done. Do I regret my decision? Do I regret choosing UNC? I don't regret choosing UNC and going to Gillings. There are certain things within my own concentration, within the program itself, that I feel need to change. I have already expressed that to my concentration leads. Things have been expressed to the actual head of the health behavior department, which is where my concentration is housed. The now second years have really lit a fire under the asses of our concentration leads, because there are new changes that are being implemented for when the new first years come in August, and I'm really happy about that. So I don't regret my decision to come to Gillings at UNC and my specific concentration. My cohort were the guinea pigs for our concentration because we were the first of its kind. And so, of course, there were going to have to be improvements that were made. And then us as first year MPH students in general at UNC, we were all guinea pigs too, because they had just revamped the program and the core classes that we all had to take. So we definitely made our suggestions, and we hope that moving forward they take them and they improve the program for the better. So no, I don't regret my experience. I do think that we have a really good MPH program. Of course, it's not without its flaws. There are things that need to change, and they will change, hopefully. But I do recommend students coming to UNC for the MPH program. Don't regret my experience whatsoever. It would have been ideal to not do it during a pandemic, but I don't regret my experience. Last portion of this video, of this segment, what is next? So I am so happy that I am not the only person in my cohort who is unemployed following graduation. I think job hunting right now during a pandemic is very hard. I have been applying to jobs since like probably mid to end December, but really taking it seriously like since January. Taking the necessary steps to talk to who I need to talk to in career services, revamp my resume, get it to where it needs to be, make sure I have the experiences that I need to have, making sure I have references when I need them, figuring out exactly what I want to do within public health. I know the areas that I'm interested in. I'm also okay though with taking a job that is not specifically like health or racial equity focused initially, just so I can get the experience that I need. Like, I'm okay with that. I want to stay in the realm of like public health advising or analyst roles. I'm also very much open to like program and project management roles within public health. I do eventually think I want to go into like public health consulting though. So those are kind of the areas within which I would like to stay. And then interest wise, eventually I do want to go into doing like racial equity work within public health, and helping to reduce racial and ethnic health disparities. So right now I do not have a job secured as I am filming this. I had a job interview last week. I have one coming up after graduation. Excuse me. I'm actually about to email 2 of my former professors tomorrow with my resume, because if you saw my Atlanta vlog, you know that I'm trying to move there. I think it's a great place for young professionals, especially young Black professionals. I also think it's a great place to move public health wise, in terms of career opportunities. And so, and the agencies that are out there, for those that don't know, the CDC is there. So 2 of my former professors have connections in Atlanta, and they know some people that are hiring and told me to send them my resume. So I will be doing that using my networks. But I do have an interview after graduation. I'm still applying to jobs. I know a few of my applications are under review currently, so hopefully the interviews will continue to roll in. I will be working one of my jobs. So my grad assistantship will end on the 14th, because that is when I graduate. And then my practicum that I ended up making my second job, I will be working that until the end of June. So I'm hoping that I get hired by the end of June or between July through September, because my lease is up at the beginning of September. So I would like to move to Atlanta by then. The backup plan is to move back to Charlotte and live with my parents for a while and work, but that is not my ideal. I'm very much used to having my own space. I know that they don't mind, but I personally mind, and I really like my own space, and I don't want to have to move back home. So I'm hoping everything works out, but that's kind of like where I am right now. I'm trying not to freak out about it, because I do know that I'm going to get employed. Everything always works itself out. Like, God really does be doing his thing. Everything always works out. Like, everything always works out in the end. It really always does. And that's what I'm trying to keep telling myself, so I don't stress myself out about it. I'm putting in the work and doing what I need to do on my end. So it's gonna do what it needs to do. Everything's gonna work out because it's supposed to, and it has to. There is no other option. Failure is not an option. Everything will work out. So that's kind of where I am right now. So graduation is upon us. It is this Friday. May 14th is the larger graduation. One of, I think, 4 or 5 or 6 ceremonies. Like, they split up the schools because of COVID. We're in a pandemic still. So my graduation is on the first day. So it is Friday, May 14th at 4 p.m. And then the graduation for my actual School of Public Health is on Saturday, May 15th, but that one is virtual. So by the time this goes up, I will officially be a graduate of the Gillen School of Global Public Health at UNC Chapel Hill with my Master of Public Health degree with the concentration in Health Equity, Social Justice, and Human Rights. That is really like freaking wild to say, because I didn't think that I would be here. Yeah, I just didn't think that I would be here, that I would have this degree, because like I said, I never really considered anything else until really like 2 years ago. So is med school still in my cards? I don't know. As of right now, I don't think I want to go. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. I do know that I want another degree and it will be a doctorate. So if I decide truly not to go to med school, I think I'm gonna get a PH, a doctorate in public health. I have already looked at programs previously, so we'll see. I want to work for a while before I go back to school. I need a break. Need a break. A bitch's burnt out. We cannot do it. I need a break. So I just want to work for a while, get my experience, network, meet people, live my life. School will be there. So that's where I'm at. But you can now refer to me as Nyla I Ruiz, comma, MPH. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Period. The price done went up. It's up now. It already went up, but now it's like official, it went up. So yeah, I wanted to thank you all for, I think this is gonna be a 3-part series, we've decided, because I've already talked for almost 40 minutes. When I edit this, maybe it'll be a little bit less, but I've talked for, I think, like 35 minutes at this point. So I can do math, is that right? Because it records 20 minutes at a time and there's like about 5 minutes left. I can do math. 35 minutes. So I think this is going to be a 3-part series. So this is going to be the second part, which is a sit down video, and then the third part will be a vlog of the actual graduation weekend festivities and prepping for graduation. So I wanted to thank you all for tuning in and watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope that if you are contemplating getting your Master of Public Health degree, specifically even if you're thinking about coming to UNC, I hope that this video was super helpful for you to hear my experience and my journey and see where I'm at. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Come join the family. I know that some of y'all be watching these videos and y'all don't be subscribing, and I don't understand why. Everyone loves it here. You're going to love it here. So come on over. Come join the family. And while you're at it, don't think that you're gonna leave without watching any other videos. They're finna be up on the screen somewhere when I'm done talking. Get to watching. But no, seriously, thank y'all for watching, and I will talk to y'all in the next video.